All right, welcome everybody, and thank you, Picante Pete, for that wonderful intro. With a voice like that, I mean, you just can't go wrong. Anyway, today we are going to be working on what exactly the title said, which is the last half of the leg. You can't really get tired of puns, especially if you're a dad like me. It's the only things that keep us alive. So just deal with it, people. All right, so where are we so far? Well, we've got most of the body. Last week we worked on the thighs, and today we are going to work on the calves and shins, which for us is just basically a line, and then we're going to make a little circle down here for the ankles. Now, a lot of people may disagree with me. Some people may not. That the hips, starting from about the center to the knee, is about 2 heads or 2 of these circle heads worth, and then as we go from the center of the knee to about the top where the ankle starts is about 2 heads as well. Legs can vary in size and length, and so I'm not too concerned how accurate we are just yet. We talked a little bit about this last week. So, but if you can make your legs somewhat in this, with this length and with these dimensions, and I think you're going to find that your humans are looking relatively normal. And then we can kind of work with this later in a different series as far as, different types of legs. Longer, shorter, and all that good stuff. All right, so let's hop to the next page. We're going to look at limitations before we actually start drawing some real life people doing things. But let's look at the front of the leg. Okay, so this right here would be the front of the leg, and so yeah, you have your little hip circle there. You've got your thighs, and then our knees that we did last week, and then we have our shins and our calves, and then our ankles. So if you're looking at the front of the leg, it's just nice and straight, looking good. Now we really can't swivel the bottom half of the leg. We can swivel all we want up here, and we'll see as we start drawing that yes, this upper thigh area does pivot. It does swing, but as far as the actual calf of the leg, it really kind of just goes back and forth. Now, what I should have done here, and I apologize, is that's what I wanted to do, because if we were to bend this leg back, if we were to just bend it backwards, bring our foot up, then yes, that's kind of the action or the drawing that we would see here, just bringing it back. And so really, if we're drawing it this way, at least for right now, then you would just see the thigh and the calf would be behind the thigh. This might look a little confusing, but I just kind of wanted to show you that when let's just pretend this is the if we're looking at the person, then this would be the thigh we would see on the right side, our right. And yes, the thigh can kind of pivot a little bit, and because of that, it looks like the thigh, or the calf is actually kind of turning a little bit or bending this way. It's kind of swiveling this way, but it's not. It's just that this is turning, and so that is what's making it look like it's bending off from this straight, static kind of back and forth action. So, well, I know that may not make a lot of sense right now. Don't worry about it. As we draw, we're going to see how this actually works. Okay. Now, if we're looking down here, this would be the side view of the leg, and again, it's nice and straight. And this would be if you were to bring your leg, the bottom half of your leg back. It's not going to go straight. It's not going to fold completely straight. There will be angle, and the more muscle you have or the more fat you have, the less this is going to be able to swing back, okay? Because you do have muscle and fat on both parts of your leg, and so there's only so much you can go before you just start mashing things together, and that would be what I'm talking about here. If you were to turn it back to the front and this was all the way back, you would not see that as of now. Okay. But there you have it. Those are pretty much limitations. It's just basically the piece that just swings back and forth, and it really does not go forward anymore. If you were to try to bring that leg forward, if this was the front of your body and you're trying to bring it forward, you just snap your leg, and that's not something that we definitely want to do. One thing I did want to make mention of, and I'm going to sketch this here. Let me grab this, and I'll just use a red brush, and let me just do a new layer. But when I'm drawing my legs, I tend to, with the arms I do the same thing, but I tend to make a little bit of a curve. There's just a little bit of a bow there, not a lot, for the thigh. And then if I'm drawing that back portion, or this calf portion, it almost looks like an S, like a very flattened S. And then I have my my ankle here. So it just definitely gives it a little bit more feel or feeling when you're drawing your characters, to not just be so static. Give it a little bit of motion. And so when I have somebody standing, there's just kind of a little bit of that. And later when we start drawing calves and thigh muscles and all that, you're going to start to see how that actually comes into play. But just for now, I would say, probably if you want to kind of follow along and do that, I think you're going to find that it does actually benefit you in the future. So we are off to our first picture here. This guy's a little grainy. It's okay. I just thought it was a cool picture. He's leaping through the air, and we have a lot of leg action going on. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce the opacity, and we'll get to our layer here so we can start drawing. And again, we're going to start drawing with the head and just work our way down. Okay. Now his head is pretty much completely sideways to us. Yes, I do. All right. Sorry, I was just checking to see if I had my opacity up, and I do. All right, so there's our face. We have our neck. We are going to draw the chest now. Let me go ahead and bring that brush tip up a little bit so it's easier to see. There we go. All right. Now, both of his shoulders are pretty much kind of up. They're kind of tilted up in the air. You know they are because they're kind of coming up around his neck a little bit, and that's how you can kind of tell. He's leaping, and he's using his arms to kind of help lunge him forward. And so that would only make sense that his shoulders would kind of be up in the air. And if you kind of try to do that on your own, you can't get that feel, you'll notice that what I'm talking about is true. All right, so let's draw these upper arms with the elbows. Awesome. We're going to draw these forearms. And then we'll go ahead and get these hands drawn. Get that wrist. Make sure you always put that wrist in there. Great. All right, that looks good. We're going to go ahead and continue down with the torso. And we see that the body, the chest is actually facing toward us, but the hips of this guy are actually facing away from us. We're actually seeing more of his buttocks, if you will. And so I wanted you to kind of notice that's where the crackage would be, and we're actually seeing pockets here. So he's not, yes, he is sideways to us, but his body is twisting, and we're actually seeing a little bit of 3D motion here. So what we're going to do, I actually want to fix that line. And we're going to get that T drawn. All right, we'll get those circles Remember, those circles fit within the T. Okay. Boom. And then we're going to go, we're not going to see where that line actually connects with the circle because it's coming up behind that T. So I'm just going to imagine that it's somewhere up in this area. And there we go. We've got our back leg. We've got our foreleg here. And now we get to draw what we've been wanting to draw for so long, and that is the calf. Awesome. I'll draw this one here too. Now, let's take a look at this. We're drawing shoes, or he has shoes. We're not drawing shoes. And we have to realize that the shoes actually have soles. And so his feet are actually up in this region here. So his ankles would be here. If we were to try to imagine the foot being down in this area with his toes, well, then he has no soles anymore. And we don't want to draw people without soles. That's not good. So, anyhow, and you can also keep in mind that the middle to here to here is about the same, right? So always be kind of double checking your work and making sure you're not drawing these super long weird legs or super short weird legs if that's not what your goal is to do. Always keep your characters and everything as close to keep the anatomy as close to normal as possible. Okay. All right, so there we have it. I am going to darken this head in just a little bit, and then let's see what we came up with as we remove the person from behind. And that looks pretty cool. He's doing a nice jump. I am going to remove that and that. That can help us kind of see a little bit better what he's doing, but he's doing a nice leap through the air, and that's awesome. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to even pretend I do. There we go. Cleaned it up. All right, let's head off to the next one, which would be 4. And we've got a soccer player. Yay, soccer. Don't really enjoy the sport. I used to like it when I was a kid, but in all honesty, I don't like that they fake injuries, and that's the same with basketball. I don't like the fake injury thing. These guys are getting paid way too much to pretend like they're hurt on a field. These are like hardcore athletes. They're making money. I just don't feel like you should fake injuries. I like football. When they get injured, they're actually injured, or at least, they head off the field, so I'm assuming they actually are. But, baseball too. But when it comes to soccer and basketball, it's like, oh, do you see that I'm hurt? And then if they don't throw a flag, then all of a sudden they just jump back up and everything's okay. And I don't know. I've never liked it. But that's just me. I'm kind of opinionated when it comes to that. Okay. Doesn't mean they're not great sports players, and doesn't mean that the sport isn't awesome. And for some of you, please don't hate me for saying that. That's just my opinion. All right. So here we go. We're going to start with the head. And let's go ahead and get this circle drawn. There we go. There's her face. And then we'll go ahead and get the chest. Now her shoulders are up too, so we can already start thinking about how we're going to draw those. All right. Now, rather than just draw all the way through, I'm going to kind of just stop it where I know it needs to stop. That way I don't have to do a bunch of erasing later. All right, and let's go ahead and get these upper arms with the elbows. I like how she's got her body's in motion. There's a lot going on here, and that gives us a lot to work with. All right. So it's a little blurry, but I'm seeing fingers here, and so I'm gonna kind of go with this as far as the square is concerned. And there's the wrist. Boom. As far as this one, I can see that there. Got the wrist and that. All right, so all of that is looking good. I can already see that there's some pretty cool motion going on here. All right, now we can start with the hips. I'm gonna come about right here. Got to be careful with these, with the hips that she's got. She's got a lot of muscle, and so we're gonna want to try to kind of go out, and I don't want to do that. We don't want to go all the way out to the sides there. So we got to be careful. Keep that T looking relatively proportionate. And then I'm gonna go ahead and draw the circle. See how big I was about to do it, and then I caught myself. All right, there we go. Yeah, muscles on people, they can kind of trick you, and you start wanting to draw this, big giant circle for the thigh, and it's like, hold on, that's just muscle. We can come back to that later. All right, so there we go. We've got the knee. Now, this leg is coming toward us, and so because of that, we're not going to connect the line of the thigh here. We're going to actually come up to the center of this, or somewhat to the center, and see how I'm doing kind of a little bit of a curve? There we go. And even this one's a little bit arced there. All right, now her leg is coming back, and so because of that, it's going to look a little bit stubby. We're going to bring this to about there, and then we have our ankle, and that would connect into the interior of the circle. And then now we're going to come down, and we're going to draw that ankle there. All right, so let's see what we have. I think this is going to look pretty cool. Ah, yeah, look at that. Almost looks like she could be dancing as well. So a lot of motion that bodies do. To me, I would actually think about this. Your characters, when they're doing, whether they're doing sports or they're fighting, it almost looks like a dance because there's motion and there's just flowing movement. And so if you're drawing and your character just doesn't look like he or she is dancing, then and they don't have to look like they're dancing like crazy, but just there's just like this nice fluidity, I guess is the word I'm looking for. They go back and find out what it is that you might be doing wrong, but they should never look like they're just block people moving around. Okay, so let's go to number 5 here, and this person is doing squats, which I thought would be a cool drawing to do. So let me get rid of that. Let's bring the opacity down, make sure I'm on the right layer, and we'll start with the head here. Awesome. Got a good looking face, got her neck, and now her shoulders are not up, they're actually down. Usually when you're lifting something, especially something heavy, you'll notice that your shoulders will come down as pretty much as far as they possibly can, because all that weight is pulling them down. There's our taco chest. Taco Tuesdays. Good day. Although it is Sunday and I'm late with this, and I apologize. I had a tough week. I got rear-ended on Monday, and then I think on like Wednesday or Thursday, the lights in our house went out, and we didn't have them till Saturday. My son's sick this weekend, and man, it just seems like one thing after the other. Oh, and my dog ate a chicken bone, and I was fearful that she was going to have issues. They say that can be really bad. So anyway, it was just one of those weeks. All right, so we've got shoulders. And I'm going to go ahead and draw this. Upper arms. And I'm kind of racing through these. The The reason being is because these are things that we already learned, and so I don't want to just keep, beating this horse to death with you. If you need to go back and learn some of this stuff and get better with it, go back to the other lessons and do that. Catch up with us. But this shouldn't be like super impossible for you to do now that we're so far along. Okay. Practice. There's nothing wrong with practicing. There's nothing wrong with going back and taking another look if you missed something. We're always here, or I'm always here. At least for now, I'm here. I always tell that to my wife and kid. I'm always here for you guys, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and draw these hips. I'm going to say that the line is about there for them. Let's put that a little bit more in the center. You may have to do this a couple times just to make sure you're drawing them in the right position. Because she's standing at an angle toward us. We just want to make sure we're putting them all in the right place. Okay. Let's see if I got that right. I think I'm gonna stick with that. It may not be perfect, but gosh darn it, I'm gonna just hope that it is. All right. The line or the little connection point to this, I would put it about right there. Come out this way, and then do the knee. Remember, those knee circles are pretty big. We're not making them small because the knee, actually, the joint itself is a pretty large joint. All right. Now her leg is actually coming toward us a tiny bit, and because of that, it looks shorter than this one out here. But that's just all perspective. Okay. We'll still draw. We're drawing her knee out here. I can't. My brain wants to say it's back here, but it's not. It's just that this one's coming out toward us, and because of that, this line looks shorter. So anyhow, we're going to go ahead and do that. And then here's a perfect idea of that arc that I was talking to you about. Both of these. I'm just arcing them a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and do that angle. All right, and then next week, oops, almost dropped my pen. Next week, we will work on the feet, and that will be the end of this particular series where we're just getting our stickmen into a figure that we can actually use to draw. And I think at that point what I'm going to do is we're going to take 1 week where we just do a bunch of these pictures, and then the next week after that we're going to go ahead and do some freehand ones. So anyway, there we go. I think that looks pretty awesome. Got the stick figure lifting something up, could be anything, and but how cool is that? Or it looks like they're about maybe to leap in the air, the beginnings of a good solid jump. So again, that should be nice and fluid, even though it's a stick man. That stick man should be nice and fluid. All right, so I think the last one we have is 6, and this is probably my favorite one that we're going to do today. Already see opacity, but look at the motion in this guy. He's running toward us, and we are going to do a lot of that arcing with the legs. We can even do that with the arms, but I think this is going to be fun. So let's get started on it, and start with the head. Now his eyes are closed. Our eyes as of yet are not closed, so don't worry about that. All right, and the top of his chest is facing us. I would say to about right there. And then we'll go ahead and draw that. So seeing a little bit of the side here. All right. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and draw these circles for the shoulders. This one's kind of coming at us in this direction. All right, not going to draw that. You guys know what I'm doing there. And I'll go ahead and get rid of that now. We'll start with the back arm. Now this one's going to look very stubby. It's going away from us, so we're not seeing a lot of the actual upper arm. We're just seeing more shoulder and elbow. And let me just clean that up a little bit. All right. Nice strong arm there. Boom. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring this up right to the center. I'll start with where the fingers are at here. Remember to keep this looking like a square. And then I'll draw my wrist. All right. Jamming. We be jamming. All right, here we go. Draw that forearm, and here we find. I always like try to think of myself as like a private investigator, FBI, man. But find the area that you know is for sure part of the square. I know that this is where the face is right here. So rather than try to start from up here, I can at least start somewhere. And then from there, I can finish the square off. Okay. So that's kind of something you want to look for when you're doing your drawings. And again, I kind of jumped the gun on that arm. I want to have it I want it to move back just a little bit so that it's with this wrist and not on the actual palm of the hand. But there we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw this center. So he's kind of tilted a little bit there. We're going to draw the hips. There's our T. I'm going to shorten it up a little bit over there, lengthen it out a little bit over there. All right. Now the hip circle is actually coming up a little bit because the leg's coming toward us. This one's just doing its normal routine, staying there. It would probably be coming up a little bit up, but on the back side. Because if we were to turn this guy sideways, we'd see that the butt muscle is actually definitely more flexed back here, and this one's being pulled forward. So I would say probably the circle would be up kind of in that area, and then this one would be up in this area. Now, because we're drawing this one coming forward and this one coming backward, we wouldn't see the T in the front, but we wouldn't see the circle in the back. Okay, the T would be hiding that. All right, so I'm gonna start with this back leg, and I'm gonna just go like that. Now see, there's where that arc is. All right, and then same thing over here. I'm doing a little bit of an arc, and I'm doing the ankle. Now this leg is going away from us, and so that's why it makes it look like the leg is a little shorter than it actually is. That's just because of the way the perspective is. All right, our thigh is here, and it's coming almost directly at us, which is, I drew that totally in the wrong way, which is why we're not going to see much leg going on. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and draw this part, which is actually like almost straight toward us, or facing us straight, so you're seeing the full length of the leg. But there we go. We've got the guy in run mode, and let's do that. And that looks really, really cool. We're just seeing all the motion of the hands, of the arms, and then the legs. And then you can only imagine when we actually get to the feet, we're just going to see that full motion taking place. And that's really Again, the point of this is so that we're actually taking a very simple stick figure, but making it to where eventually we can just draw the body around it and make some really fun positions with the body. Before we started doing all this, and before we even got into it, I think that there's a lot of you that probably would have thought that there's no way you could draw something like this. And what kind of makes me happy is that if you took the time, if you did each of the lessons, you got to this point now, and you're really realizing that you actually can do this. It's not hard. It's just a matter of just seeing where each shape's supposed to go, keeping their proportions, and then moving forward. So I will see you guys next week. Hopefully I'll have a better week and be able to get this done on time. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna be working with the feet, and then at that point we're pretty much done with the series, and then we're just gonna do a couple lessons where we just work with what we've got so far. Okay, have a blessed week, and see you soon.